Welcome to Academy of Tone 139, I guess. Happy New Year to everybody, and this is a new Academy of Tone studio. We took some time during the days, put everything new. We have a kind of more depth. We are still in the same room. Good old Jimmy is on this side, and now we are facing towards the length of the room, which gives us more depth. So we have more room behind me, which is great. So I can put all the pedals here and all the amps and guitars, and they are right at hand. So we can have tons of comparisons, hopefully much better than with our last setup. Hey, yeah, what's new? What's up? I had an issue with my Instagram account. Maybe some people noticed, maybe you didn't. But I got hacked, which is a very unpleasant experience. It's like one day your account simply disappears. It's like it's gone. You don't see the pictures anymore, you see nothing. The whole thing happened since I was applying for this kind of blue tag certified account, and then I got some phishing email, which I didn't know because they looked exactly like official emails. And of course I clicked there and bam, this was my info, whatever happens there. But on the New Year's morning, very early, when the hackers were still in bed, asleep, I tried again and again and again, and maybe I was faster. So the first step was I could log into the account again with a video that I've done, and then I got a kind of confirmation code, put that in, and then I could kick out some of the names that I got to the account. The account was kind of restored. But first I couldn't get onto it, then I could get onto it, and then I kind of kicked out some of these hackers, and then I changed my password, and now I hope I'm safe. So yeah, I'm back on Instagram, which makes me happy because Instagram to me is a fun medium. Yeah, it's great to have quick pictures. It's something that I personally kind of like to watch myself as well. Anyway, so this was the one news. The other news is this episode original was planned with our dear colleague Kai, but he became a daddy way earlier than expected. Again, New Year's morning, 3 a.m. He had, his wife was giving birth to daughter. So that's exciting for him. I'm not sure what this means if somebody has a birthday on the 1st of January. I mean, it's definitely a date that everybody can remember. But on the other hand, maybe everybody has a hangover from the New Year's Eve festivities. I don't know. But he was in the newspapers, local, as being the first father for this year here in our area. Okay. Besides that, of course, yeah. Any comments on the studio? Let me look the comments here. Yeah, studio looks great. Password AMPX. Well, I'm clever. I'm not using AMPX as a password because everybody knows that I'm connected with that. This is the GCM 800 new standing behind you. Well, this is Euge Valuvirtas. This is the Badboy. This is the Badboy. And the others are mine. And still, I have more amps than what we see here in the next room. And I have 2 out with other people. One of them is with Peter Weyer, a German studio guitar player. And blah, blah, blah. So what other password? Congrats to Kai. Yeah. So he will be back whenever the hot first days are over and he has rings like that and no sleep and, that's the usual stuff that comes with new human beings on this planet. yeah, talking about new human beings on this planet. This is not a human being, but it's a new product that we are working on for a long time. And yeah, it's coming this year. It's not here, it's just here. I played it, but this is actually not the current version, as we are working on different layers, on different things. It's quite a complex thing we do here, and the thing is, the project is going on for several years now, and we want to give you a little insight on where we are now and where we will be, and we hope we can answer the $1 million questions: when will the AMPX be released? And therefore, I have our dear colleague Julian Preuß with us as our special guest, because he was specially hired for this kind of project that wasn't an AMPX back in the days. Mr. Preuß coming in? Yeah.
Hey there, I got some space here.
Yeah, hey.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, we met earlier in the office and now here in the video studio. You have to know that these are two buildings. So this is this studio is in my home in the basement, and the company is, well, 1 kilometer this way.
Well, of course, I'm already here since 2 hours. So
Yeah. he knows this place also very well, because when we sometimes do sound sessions, there is more gear here available, and so we work everywhere. So yeah. Anyway.
hi Hardy-O and hi Mario.
Aha, Mario.
Mario is always
Strecke-
there.
Yeah, Mario is a hardcore fan. And hey, Mario has a new CD, something about 80s, which is cool. Yeah, very stylish, back to the 80s. Maybe we should introduce Julian a little bit more. You've been here once before, when we did what?
I've been, yeah, maybe some guys saw me at a short video inside a stream, but I haven't been at the stream yet.
Aha, so
It's my first time. Yeah.
He's the first time real life. Cool. So okay. So maybe we should let's get the $1 million question out of the way first, so we can all be relaxed. We have been working on this project for years, and we come to a point where we are pretty sure that the release date will be kind of
25 of July this year.
this year. This is something we thought about, is something possible, and we will explain you why this is the case. And therefore,
And what the hell did we do?
all the years,
last years?
all the years. Yeah. So maybe the whole thing started with something I think I came up with some ideas after AMP1 as a concept back in 2016. And in 2016, I got something like this little board here. Now we should have the overhead camera. If possible, see this little board. Is it still alive? Ah, yeah, the green light is blinking. And I was looking for something that would give us effects. And this board has a kind of semi-powerful, whatever, DSP. And it could be programmed by a guy that has no clue about programming. So there was kind of a graphic surface where there were like little blocks. There was kind of a modulation block. There was a filter block. I'm thinking like a modular synthesizer, with all these little things. And then I could draw the cables from this output into this block and from that output into that, and then I was modulating the delay because of tape echo, and then I don't know what I've done. Spent some hours, days, and so on, clicking around until I had created some effects based on what was in that library, but kind of combining elements of that library. And this came to a point where I thought, okay, I'm at the end of my knowledge. Here is, I need a proper guy that understands this shit.
Yeah.
And then I was hunting you down with my girlfriend's brother and your professor. That was the same professor of the one from, my girlfriend's brother.
Yeah, and I was working as like a lab technician or so at university in this professor's lab, and there, one day I saw like a piece of paper.
Mr. Preuß?
We want to. It was like a strange thing. We want to program DSP effects and so on, and I didn't really understand what it's about, and I was also kind of not interested in it.
So, but the good point.
But I decided that I will just go
Come
there,
and
get the number of this guy, and then I had my like my CV finished and so on, and then I went there, and he said, "Oh, you just come over here and we'll just talk."
Yeah. Well, and this is what we've done in my kitchen with your professor. And then the good thing is your professor kind of was so excited about what I was talking about, maybe without going into this. He was kind of, Mr. Preuß, you have to do this. This is a cool thing, something like that.
Yeah, like that. Trying to motivate. But what got me in the end is the PCB of AMP1. You had like a sample PCB of AMP1.
Yeah.
And I just look at it, and first, there's a tube on it.
Yeah.
And second, there's like tons of analog tech.
Yeah.
And in my studies, I always had the wish that I could learn more about analog stuff.
Yeah.
But there was never the
chance.
way. So and what I thought is that I will do some boring programming project to get my internship finished.
Yeah.
And what I got was a lot of analog stuff.
Yeah. And this is actually what I think was the extra for you to be excited. What's going on?
The comments are hilarious.
Okay.
So can you explain what role is Julian? Is he an engineer or developer or project manager?
He's engineer, everything.
I'm all of it,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. But I mean, see, BluGuitar is a small company, and we all have many different tasks. Officially, we hired you as an engineer kind of thing. First we did
as a software developer.
Yeah. But I mean, you did a little bit of that, and then I was working on the Mercury edition, which was shifting production and making a kind of refreshment of AMP1 Silver into the Mercury edition. Mm-hmm. And when I was working on that, Julian, he was interested, and suddenly we started to work together, and it felt very great, and boom.
Before you were working on it, as far as I remember, with our senior engineer who designs the PCBs and all, and he traveled here to design AMP1 Mercury with you as an update.
Yeah.
And you all were in trouble because the senior engineer basically lost patience and said, "Oh, I don't want anymore," and you were not satisfied because the product was not sounding
exactly
As
like
you
I
want,
want. Yeah.
yeah.
And this is a typical BluGuitar thing, you know. We all have our roles. I mean, there is Julian, there's Andre, which is the senior engineer, and there's myself. And now we have even a fourth guy named Andreas. So we are actually kind of four people, engineers, product manager. We all share, and we are all different, and we all have different kind of approaches, and we have different strengths and weaknesses. And the good thing about our team is we all respect each other. We all know, I know that he doesn't like that. But the good thing is somehow we find a way how to rearrange our collaboration, how we work together in a way that everybody is giving its best, delivering the best output, and the guys that have the patience for sound, like we two, you know, can spend hours in things that other people go like, these people are mad. I hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. But we can challenge them with stuff that is beyond our knowledge. And that's the good thing, that we have that beautiful team, and we all have egos, but we have no ego conflicts. That's I have been in many strong teams before, and most of it, the problem was ego problems, because yeah, and of course there's always a discussion what's important, but one structure is clear: I'm the boss. That makes it easy for me, and I have to pay all the other guys. But the amount of work we get done and the satisfaction we get out of our work is great, because in the end everybody can look at something like an AMP1 or an AMPX and see something that is not available anywhere else, because one of us alone would never get there. That's the secret. You know, if one guy thinks I'm the best in everything, forget it. I mean, maybe he's very efficient because he does everything by himself, but there is another aspect, and we have the yin yang in 4 dimension. You know, you are kind of in the middle of analog and digital, and then we have the super digital nerd, and then we have the super analog nerd, and I'm the overall everything sound managing and sound design torturing element in the group. So and this is the nice thing about the X symbol. This gives us the 4 elements, and this is why we are 4 designers in a way. Everybody with its own skills, and everybody with its own strength.
Yeah, but let's start at the beginning.
Okay, we have prepared a nice graphic with the years. Let's show this is the history. So when we go back for 2016, there was kind of an AMP2 idea, because what comes after 1? Of course, there is AMP2, and after 2 there would be 3. But the AMP2 idea is something I had this board for, and then we were making drawings of things that could be something like that. Do we have some drawings? Can we see those? I think I sent some out there. See, this is something you make, whatever. This drawing and another drawing. This is all my Kritzel book.
I find the foot switch really nice, that will automatically change the master if you press it.
Because if it's too close, but I mean, we have the elevated foot switch section here, and this could be sunk. But anyway, this is. Do we have any more of this, or do we have like something like, how does it look when we do it in a 3D program? Stuff like that. This is way later. This is AMPX without the flap window. But this is okay. Just while we see this picture here, because this is pretty close to where we are now. you can see that I'm always thinking in the future. It's like here you can see extra foot switches, and you can see the wing idea, and yeah, it has an X. Yeah, okay. This is so. This for instance is the extra foot switch doesn't exist yet, but
but this is actually quite late already.
Yeah.
Quite late.
but
Design.
we have earlier drawings somewhere. Maybe this is maybe first prototype print of the front panel. Again, AMPX. Yeah. This is yeah. This is again. You know.
It's that's already 3D print of
Yeah.
kind of something, but still without display. Yeah.
Yeah. This is here you can see there was no display. There was this was kind of maybe more AMP2 than AMPX. But
yeah, this is still M2.
Yeah.
For sure. But we are getting
distracted.
out of
Okay,
distracted again. So
let's talk about the beginning.
yeah. So I got in company, and what I basically got from Thomas is like limited access to schematics of AMP1, like not to the holy sections.
Of course not, because
but
we are very protected.
Only to the like to the digital section of AMP1, and I also got this board, and then I started thinking, how might it be possible that first the tone control can be saved as a preset.
Programmable.
Yeah. Second, how is it possible with this chipset to do speaker simulation, to do some basic effects? Yeah. And I've been working with it, and it turned out that
A compromise.
this
was
was not
strong enough.
This board could do one speaker simulation with 512 samples
Only,
and post effects, but no pre effects.
Yeah. So, you know, this board was a nice starting point, but this is something, and this one is even better than. Now I'm talking bad about using Kettner, but this is a lot better than what's being used in their amps as effects. I know it because I worked with their board for many years as well.
Let's say, for example, the Reverb chip inside the AMP1 is like an earlier generation of chip that came out like in 2010, 2012 or whatever. And when time goes by, chips get better.
Of course, yeah.
And today the AMP1 Reverb is still sounding good, but
there's a next generation.
There's a next generation of stuff, and also like with a chip this size, nowadays you can do like everything, like most effects at the same time, and so on. And this is already like a next gen board. It's ARM based processor by ST Electronics. Basically, it's like a fat microcontroller, which can be misused to do effects.
And I came along with this ST because the little controller inside AMP1 is also ST. So this kind of is the big brother of what's in here. So for me, this was kind of the logical step. But, you know, after we found out the limitations, my mindset went, hey guys, too much compromise. And we found another chip later. But, you know, the first concept, just to paint a little picture, was the AMP2 was something like 2 AMP1s with like 8 channels, and then the programmable tone controls and some effects. This was the idea. Of course, that's an obvious thing, and this is a logical progression from step 1 to step 2. But just thinking about that, we could have made this product, we could have released that product, which this would be an easy one, and this would be definitely out on the market by now, because that's so long ago. But on the other hand, I could see my personal needs were more than this. I could have made this kind of M2 in a way that I personally am happy, but this would be not a product. I knew exactly the people that were missing this and that, and I hear the voices. I hear all your voices in the comments. Where is my blah, blah, blah? Where is my, yeah, and I need that compressor, and I want that booster, and I want this. So I hear you. And with that concept, there would only be one, maybe my booster, and one overdrive, maybe my overdrive, and maybe this one delay, and that's it.
Lots of interesting comments.
Yeah.
There are some smart guys there. Maybe a modular PCB can solve upgrading problems. We thought about that too,
Yeah.
and I even designed like a plug-in DSP board. We discussed about it. Like we could upgrade to a bigger CPU later,
Yeah.
and then have stereo effects instead of mono effects. You remember the discussion? Yeah.
I now it comes
And-
back. I had so many ideas. I show you another idea that I had. That's the napkin from last night's pizza. I had this idea about a square PCB once, and I mean something like you have the circuitry on the PCB and you slide it in your amp this way, or that way, or that way, or that way. So, I mean, you have, just coming from my bloody old idea of modifying Marshalls, the parts in between the tubes make the sound design. What's different from a Plexi and the 800? It's the parts between the tubes, basically the same amount of tubes, and the transformer can be used. That's the proven by my Black Flag GTM over there, you know, the big one, the Thomas. This is a Plexi, but it's modded into an 800 as well. So it's both in one amp. And this idea of this modular thing, you know, different PCBs or even different sides of PCBs can give you different functions, has been in our heads as well. But this is not the best.
It's not the best idea because first, napkins don't work as PCB. No, but what I mean, it's not good to have like plug-in connections.
Yeah, the context is always...
the contacts are getting bad after some time, and then you need to tell people who call you, you need to slide the board out and in again, and then it will work, and then the customer will say, oh my God, are you serious about this?
Yeah.
And so it's better. It's
to
better
have
not
solid
to do this,
soldered joints,
So-
soldering modern.
And also, if you think about, you need to define an interface, and by that interface, you will be always limited. Yeah?
Exactly. And so maybe we did jump somewhere.
Yeah, of course, again.
Where are,
Yeah.
roughly are we in?
So at some point we had a design which has like a plug-in effects board with integrated controller, and it had like 8 channels, and for each channel there was the custom control, possible to memorize the custom control setting, then possible to save the tone control. And that was basically it. Only post effects. Yeah?
And one speaker emulation.
One speaker emulation with the
limited
possibility to upgrade it somewhere later when we get a nicer CPU that is
more
compatible but more powerful. We could have done that, but it's, I guess, better that we didn't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah?
So this goes along with another parallel experience. When we worked on the Mercury edition, we kind of got a mutual understanding of what's happening in our circuitries and what's happening in my good old amps behind me. And, you know, Julian got kind of into the world of the guitar amps. And then when we went for the next step for the Iridium edition, there was a full new level of tonal challenges. The tightness was important. A different output stage, a different, sometimes maybe clipping characteristic. You know, low gain sounds, high gain sounds, tight sounds, loose sounds, organic sounds. This journey, since we worked together on that also a lot, as we did with our senior engineer, but basically we work every day. It's like, hey guys, you know, we understand more and more about the DNA of the whole universe of amps. And of course, at one point, you come to the idea and say, okay, what's the difference between a rectifier and a Princeton? And then, you know, it's like a quiz for a technician. Well, there's a little bit, in the good old tube world, we could go, there's a different plate voltage on the input stage, and there's this kind of clipping stage, and there's this kind of EQ, and the notches will follow this, and then blah, 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 and the power amp. So, but after a while, you know the recipe. You know, there's a recipe for this amp and this one. But you also know that when you have the recipe, we could recreate that recipe with our technology, with our nanotube combination of tube and transistor, all analog.
But of course, you have to find an abstraction.
Yeah.
And that was a learning process over several years. Because you have to see, we decided that we develop AMP1 Mercury first because it was like emergency priority, yeah. Because in 2016, you and the former OEM manufacturer separated, and then there was like limited stock, and nobody ready to build new AMP1s. Yeah. And you had new sample PCBs, and they were not sounding as the old AMP1, so you had to do a new one with the quality that should be equal or better to the old AMP1. And so we took the first learning step while having the future project in mind all day. We did Mercury, and then we decided that we do Iridium before the AMP2. It was still the AMP2 there.
Exactly.
We decided that we do Iridium first. And during the development of Iridium, first we got the conclusion that with our technology, it's not only possible to do like vintage to
classic
hard rock
amp,
or so, but also the metal side. And then one day, still thinking, I was for some reasons talking with our senior engineer, and he complained about my idea to put so many parallel preamps on the PCB. My God, you are like, he told me, in all of those circuits, you are doing like 50% of the parts are the same, and the clip is like probably sometimes also the same, but you need to do it. Can't you like optimize this so that you can reuse some parts and so on? And then I went to talk with Thomas.
And then we had a big discussion, but the result was we could think about a single channel that could be so flexible that it actually can be any channel. And this was a quantum leap. This was the biggest step mentally. And this big step, I mean, the first moment when we had this discussion, it's like, wow, is it? Yeah, is it? Yeah, it works. It's like that's the logical progression from this kind of designing amps into a new style of designing amps. Think about it as like in the history of amplifiers, there used to be one-channel amps. Then to get them versatile, you had to have stump boxes, or you had to have later separate channels for the amps. And then we kind of do a different thing to have a one-channel amp that can do it all. Some of the old, or there's some one-channel amps that have a lot of parameters to tweak that are pretty flexible. You can change for instance, current feedback and the gain here and the stuff there without being in different channels on a single channel amp. And these amps can sound clean and overdriven as well. But we wanted a lot more because we had, our two amps in mind first, the Mercury and the Iridium edition, and then of course all the rest of all other amps as well. And this was my magic moment that, hello guys, welcome to the new world, to the new reality. We go all the way. This is a proper goal. Let's do something groundbreaking new.
Yeah.
And this is what is AMPX.
Yeah. And then I went out and did some very basic, very shit schematics. And then I went, with that, I went to our senior engineer again, and he told me, you are crazy, but I like it.
Exactly.
So let's do it.
That's the way that, this is what we need. We have to have that special moment about the extra level and people who love that kind of challenge. If it's possible, if it's new ground and if it's possible, that's us. If it's old shit, nobody's interested. Boring. Especially
interesting to learn, but not interesting to copy.
We are not no copycats. We create new stuff. Yeah. And then of course, with this kind of thing in mind, I thought, hey, this amp should also have pre-effects. I mean, I'm the user here, and I think having different amps, it's a nice thing, but hey, in the rest of the world with the pedals, it's a similar thing like with amps. They all use similar schematics. I mean, in the end, when you look at low gain overdrives and high gain overdrives or boosters, they use different parts, but we were thinking about all that stuff as well. And then we came up to the idea, we have a few categories that we build circuitries, and these circuitries should be able to deliver what we want. Wah-wahs, pretty easy because wah-wahs are more or less filters, but boosters, and then overdrive pedals. Yeah. And this is one of those.
And then you start to think, what can you do to create something that can be any overdrive pedal?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you start
to
trying to build
the top,
trying to build stuff, and you see there's a lot of switches and there is a lot of trimmers. Of course, all of this is analog, but it was like the first steps to check if it's possible to achieve this flexibility without using completely different circuits.
Yeah. Again, this is kind of the one-channel approach from the amp transferred into the pedal world, into like, let's have a circuitry with all these many switches and controls that can be any overdrive pedal. And so we have designed this overdrive stage that can do all these different overdrives. And then we have another stage which is any boost pedal or boost pedal. So, and then we can even use both at the same time. So, so we have the boost pedal by X, we have the overdrive by X, we have the wah-wah by X, and then we had a compressor. And the compressor was, of course, at the beginning was the idea of my yellow comp. It's somewhere, but not in anyway.
However, I have like 20 of those little boards that each have like their single little piece of function that in the end should add up to
Be
the whole unit.
Yeah.
And we are talking like this stage of development. We are talking, I believe, mid 2019.
Mid 2019, yeah. And in 2019, we had all these handmade PCBs to kind of prove our idea, the proof of concept, if we actually can think that way. And at the same time, we discovered a DSP that was way more powerful than what we had in this one here, and that was
going on in parallel because.
Yeah, of course, everything goes in parallel. While
that is important to know. Everything goes in parallel. We were like starting the construction, like the mechanic construction.
Yeah.
I know you already had a 3D printed model of something similar to this when I arrived in 2017.
17. Okay. Yeah.
So this was already going on since then, and the processes are iterative, not serial. We don't start developing the housing and then we are finished developing the housing
and then we start electronics.
Yeah.
And then we do one part. No, and everything is iterative. No, we make this version, and with the experience from that version, we have still new wishes and new things that need to be different and stuff. We make the next iteration, and then we have to do it. We have to really finalize it to a certain stage until we see, okay, this thing is okay for this, but we want more. So we do another iteration.
Above, I read a comment that it seems like many people thought in 2020 that we are actually finished and we will release the AMPX in 2020. Yeah.
Here's the truth. We had the study in 2020. For me, the thoughts were so big that I thought 2020 is a new decade. And with all the years before 2020, I mean, we can go back to 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, and even myself in 2015, AMP1 kind of was on a finished level in 2013 and then came out in 2014 late, So this is the way things are. But I can show you stuff that is AMPX in 2012, AMP1, sorry. Now I'm getting confused. So things, there is always, the brain is here, the reality is there.
So what you want to say, you have like prototypes of AMP1 from 2012 that you could have decided to publish. To manufacture, but then it would have 50 watts, it would have no reverb and so on and so on. It would have been a compromise.
Yeah, and this is not what I want to do. I want to max out. Of course, somewhere in this universe there is a compromise, but I want to max out what our team is able to deliver. And you know, it's like, you are crazy, but I love it. This is kind of, we all have this kind of spirit for us, and this is why we all appreciate that kind of mindset, because in the end we get to really new ground. And now back to the year.
What did we have in 2020?
Exactly.
So we showed a nice unit there sitting in like a
glass housing,
holy shrine or what?
yeah. So which was actually something like an aquarium. So let us. I can show you. Wait, we have a few pictures here. I show you a picture with the in the very middle with the custom AMP1. Housing picture. So this, and then on the wait a minute, I'm talking to Lucas to explain which picture we have to show. Yeah, this is the stuff. This is December. Was it December?
It was December 19, and like you see the front panels. The front panel is the same than the white in the picture before.
Yeah,
and it was 3D printed, and then
I put it to the garage to my
to this car guy, and then we let it spray paint there.
Hey, I have to talk about the car guy here because the guy's name is super cool. His name is Ole Bas, and this guy is Ukrainian, so don't mix him up with Russian. He does speak Russian, but he is Ukrainian. So when I go for my friend there, I know.
Then you say, dear Mr. Bass, I'm Mr. Guitar.
Something like that. Yeah, and Ole is always cool. And if, you know, he was, I can talk to the guy, it's like, you know, we're kind of buddies. It's like, when do you need it? And then it's like, next week. I said, no, tomorrow. Oh, and he goes, whatever in his language, and then he says, okay, come tomorrow at 12, and he has finished at 12. So this is a real nice guy. Then you have to show the next picture where Julian is sitting in the office at the 1st of January. You get very down in the see Julian in the office. This one, yeah. So and this was actually putting those parts together, and the reality is, I did play a concert in between. So I picked up the parts, brought it in the company to Julian. Julian was working on getting this.
And then you were gone. I was so tired. I had no idea where you even are.
Yeah, and I played a concert with the Symphony Orchestra and Hermann Reverbs in the Kongresshalle Saarbrücken. I was gone, and Julian finished it, and then I came back at, I don't know, 3 in the morning or something. It was very, very late because we played the concert and we have the after show parties with drinks and stuff.
And I remember we had the flight scheduled the flight to US scheduled like 1 day later. This was real crunch. I think I worked 36 hours straight.
Sure.
And then I looked like this afterwards.
Of course, but you know, this is the extra challenge. Yeah.
But the big question is, what was inside the AMPX? Was there like fancy stuff inside? No.
There was only this kind of PCB which had only the switches and a few lights. And did we have a switch to switch it on?
We need to wait until our picture is big so that people can see it. Yeah.
So this. Yeah. So where is the clean channel? There is no clean channel.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah.
This is just a clean empty. PCB.
So we only did the show. That's it. Yeah. We had like the channel switch is hardwired to the LEDs. We had this logo light, which is I think hardwired to this potentiometer to adjust brightness. Yeah. At the end, Thomas asking, why does the light change when I turn boost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
and
part of the
and
show.
of course, we had
The tube.
the tube and the voltage controller.
Yeah.
What was real inside the prototype was the power board.
Yeah. At least we had a power board.
Because we decided to start while we were not exactly knowing yet what we will do on the main board. Our senior engineer already started the power board.
Yeah, okay. And by the way, I have to say it again, this is the transformer that is our design. Okay, just a little.
Yeah, our transformer. And another lot of nice stuff in there that is not being used by anyone that I know of in this combination.
Yeah, we are proud of what we are doing.
Optimized for low height and doing stuff that is usually not being done in a flyback power supply.
Okay, and the good thing is you just plug it in, it works anywhere on this planet. And can we show it one more time with the L caps? Because that was the reason why we had to come up with something smarter than this. These are the L caps. See how small they are. In a power supply, you find these big, thick things.
Yeah.
And we
But
managed.
it had to fit in the housing.
Yeah, because there is
I was fighting with Thomas for 1 centimeter more, so that
this is the truth. We had days of discussions if the amp gets bigger or not, and I said no, and I tell you why, because it would start to look ugly like a fat ass. Maybe I said something like that, something really mean.
Yeah.
But the thing is, sometimes it is worth doing that because then you really come up with the innovation, and we solve the problem. We have the most smart and the most compact, the most efficient power amp, power supply and power amp in this product. Period. Way ahead of everybody else. Guys, just take it.
So it took some time until we really got the first PCB of the AMPX and not just a dummy. I think it took until May 2021.
Okay, and here's the story why. First thing you have to remember, 2020, COVID started. So this was the first year of COVID. So when we all flew to the show, 2020, everybody was happy. It was the biggest NAMM show ever.
And then you came back, and you were getting sick.
Yeah.
And nobody was talking about COVID, and of course nowadays it's impossible to prove, but it's a little sketchy.
Yeah, I was definitely having COVID right after NAMM. This is with my knowledge now. It was a light variant of COVID, but some other colleagues and some other people that I knew at the trade show had way harder symptoms. Maybe having a different variation or blah, 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 or maybe I was just lucky. But so COVID hit and the world changed, which made the whole process not even faster. So you have to remember everything. And then we are manufacturing in China and we are very happy about our manufacturer, but things are affected on that end as well and still are. That's something that we have learned and everybody has learned. And I mean, we all talk now about supply chain issues. And the good thing is we are through the first 2 years of COVID, and there's a lot of slow down processes we had to deal with. but it looks like the world is getting a bit faster again on this side.
But of course, it also, you remember from like 10 minutes ago, we said we got a new chip. So the AMPX doesn't use this chip anymore.
Yeah.
It uses a special audio optimized DSP that has like a really crazy multi-core approach, which of course makes everything complicated. Yeah, and so what also made it really hard to get to the PCB in the end was that I took very long time to understand how the chip works,
yeah,
and how it's possible to connect it to all the stuff here.
yeah,
Yeah, because I will show the
PCB.
first version of the PCB with one small display attached, botched on.
Yeah,
Yeah. So basically, below there
it's all the
is
preamps.
is the analog section.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going up here to the tube, which is somewhere sitting below the display.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like in the middle here, between the digital part and the analog part, is stuff sitting that talks with the analog sections of the design, and has again to talk to the chip on there. Yeah? So it took a long time to get this communication set up in a way that it was a possibility that it could work in the end. And the second time that ate up a lot of time was the structural engineering.
Yeah, there's a lot of mechanical things we had to optimize as well. Having a rough idea is one thing, to realize it is the next thing. Facing the problems, solving the problems, and then adding an extra layer on top of more demands, of more features. I have to intervene a few things here. Is nice things in the comments. One phrase is good: as long as there is no virus in the AMPX software, I feel fine.
Virus in embedded system makes no sense, because for a virus to do something, it needs to be connected to the internet.
Yeah, so we don't have that, but we have no viruses there. We have maybe bug.
Yeah.
And why not? Okay.
Ampit, why?
Yeah. Okay, that's even more.
Is the DSP ARM? No, it's not.
It's a special thing that we are using.
It's a special architecture, and it doesn't. Some of the. Wait, I need to think. The audio optimized cores.
There's two types of cores.
Yeah,
in
there is one microcontroller core, and there's in the later version 16 audio cores, and those cores don't even talk C, so you have to program them in assembler.
Okay, this is talking in programming languages. There's C and assembler. And the cores are different from their internal structure. The software that needs to be written for is
so
different.
The software is also different. Yeah? And with that kind of special architecture, it's also not possible to like take this library from your Windows computer and then you can do floating point operations and blah, 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 blah. No, you need to write your own stuff on there. And it's also not moving pictures around. It's really like the hard stuff.
Yeah. So, and Julian kind of got so deep into the whole thing, having this PCBA and then working on getting this processor under control. Yeah. At a certain point,
not having this board yet. Yeah. I was having a development board, so it's like a little board like this. Yeah. Which gives engineers the possibility to do some firmware experiments without having their own hardware finished yet.
Yeah.
and
you have to come
using
up.
that, I
Yeah.
started to do experiments. What can this thing do? Is it really suitable for us?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we need to get this working at the end? And will it be performant or will it be just broken? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why it took a very long time together with the other processes running in parallel.
Yeah.
And we released this PCB to our manufacturer for production, like
Yeah.
sample production,
Sample production
in
only, yeah.
December 2020,
Yeah.
and we got it in May 2021.
See, and there's COVID delays and stuff. And along with this kind of super challenge of the processor, Julian had kind of a burnout at a certain phase. There was, I think, was it in the mid of 2021, probably?
A lot of cool questions. Sorry, what?
No, I mean, this is okay. Okay, just to be a bit more nicer, I have a picture me being at the hairdressers with Julian. See, this is me, and now look at him. Can yeah.
Sometimes when I see this picture, I dream like Thomas is doing a concert and can't play anymore, and then I need to play the guitar because I look similar enough so that people won't notice. And the clue is I can't play the guitar.
No. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, this was kind of a complex and very delicate year. I call this the COVID year 2, with a lot of things that took so much longer than we expected. And
Because what happened, this board arrived and it didn't work.
yeah,
Like it didn't work, most of it. And when I got it finally working, like on the technical side, it sounded like it wasn't possible to do any legitimate sound design with this board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so in this year we kind of got another guy more involved, who is a super specialist engineer for software that actually was maybe co-designing the chip.
He certainly was defining what should be the functionalities of the chip.
Yeah.
So
And this guy is the super nerd and expert.
to explain it, this chip, like the main chip on this thing that does all the calculations for effects, was designed by or with the guy that is now
working
with us to finish the firmware.
Yeah. So, and that's good news, because again, we can max out, that's my game, the knowledge of our team. We have one of the most knowledgeable guys in the industry, because he is working for the company that also designed that chip. So we have kind of their senior mastermind.
The best guy for this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm switching up revisions. This
So
is wrong.
Where's you had a version B, which was the sucker one.
So yeah.
And then we have C.
Yeah, let's first talk about revision B. So
B.
then what happened? The revision A board wasn't working that well.
B.
Yeah, and so we had to come up with something else, and that software guy, together with that software guy, we had the idea to add the 4 displays.
Yeah, and to go for USB-C.
And go for USB-C. Yeah.
So this was a fresh good input, because with this extra manpower and somebody that says, "Hey guys, let's do this right," it's like, hello, I was not.
I have to hide my face so that the face recognition of the camera goes off.
Away, yeah.
Yeah. So you see, here is the main display, or here it should be.
Yeah.
And then here are the 4
X,
little displays.
Yeah, what we call now the X display, X controls.
And here you can already see the USB-C jack,
Yeah.
which was also kind of complicated because this DSP doesn't natively support USB-C,
USB-C.
so we had to kind of do it ourselves again.
Yeah, this is something, you know, it's learning by doing. You come to a certain thing and then you have a problem. And then a lot of things you have to do from scratch because we are not on the level where we use stuff that is easy peasy, like standard components with standard solutions. That is not us. This is what the other guys are doing. We have experts that make special solutions for special products. And this is why I'm so proud of BluGuitar, the BluGuitar team, the products, and what we are doing, because they are fucking special. It's 4 engineers that cook and create new recipes. And it's not one guy that grabs things from here and there, or 2 guys or whatever.
I remember what also happened. What also happened is that we had finished like the codec part for effects, and then what happened is the factory burned down that was producing this codec.
Yeah, this was
So we had to redesign this complete section with the codec.
to get another codec from another manufacturer with a
And
different
of course,
pinning.
different pinning, different functionality.
Everything different.
Suddenly, I also need to talk with the codec to set it up for functionality.
Yeah. So these are the kind of unexpected things that come along the way. You plan something and it always has been no problem, and then there's a supply problem, and then you change, and it is not just one component standard thing that you can. No, you have to do a full redesign also on software.
Yeah, but what also happened is that we got something that kind of worked using this revision B from October 21. The design was finished October 21. And then I guess we got it shortly before end of the year. So this board is like heavily modified. You see there like an extra capacitor botched on, and like I guess 10% of the parts here are replaced, like new traces on it, and maybe it is this board that you could hear in the NEM show.
Don't ask me any.
Yeah, no, but and I don't know because there are several of those boards that have been modified.
Yeah.
But this is definitely the revision that was
Shown.
inside the units
Yeah.
that went to
The NEM.
NEM show
Okay,
22. Yeah, and it also fits by the date because
Yeah.
October 21 we
Design,
finished the design,
and then
and then we got
Until-
it like shortly
Yeah.
before winter, and then we got it finished for NEM. And that was
and another
here
big
what
step
was running on NEM.
was that we have decided to go all the way for the 16-core DSP,
Yeah.
and there's a little brother that has only 8 cores, but
Yeah.
you know,
So there's basically the same chip available with 8 audio cores and 16 audio cores.
And
we first went for the 8 because I
We
thought, okay, we need speaker simulation, we need effects. 8 cores is enough.
yeah,
But then in the end we decided,
let's go all the way.
even we don't need those cores, let's just do it so that we
But
can do
anything,
as much as
yeah.
possible in the future.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Now we have 5 speaker simulations, and you know we can add them up, and we can have them on different outputs and all that kind of things. Nice, no? So let's move on to revision. Let's
To revision C.
Yeah. So.
So we
Wait a
were
minute. I have notes here. The drive stage and the amp stage was modded.
from
So-
revision B to revision C.
Yeah. Was this the big EQ mod, or this comes later? Post EQ amp.
I modded the post EQ of the amp in every
Revision.
iteration.
Yeah, because this is again something.
It's like the post EQ of the amp is the most challenging
Thing-
part of sound design.
Yeah,
So to explain, what is the post EQ of the amp?
I mean,
it's like-
I use this all the time. I mean, basically, it's like your tone control of the amp,
Yeah.
and that sits like after the overdrive stages in most amps.
It's a fancy tone control that comes after distortion.
Yeah, and
And in
what
our case, it needs to be very fancy because it needs to do every
anything.
possible frequency response that might occur in
Yeah.
some amplifier.
Yeah, and that's so critical. And this is again a super unique design that we have here.
Yeah.
Working
What
on it
else?
for years. I have asked you about this thing a million times because the idea is easy, but going into the detail, how to solve it, and then making measurements, making it in theory, and then going back and double checking, and then seeing this, and then even in practical tests, I found things that we had to rethink.
Real programmers here in the comments.
Programmers?
Okay, to intervene in the discussion going on here. Why do the audio cores not have a C compiler? Because they don't have a stack. It's possible to do a C compiler on pretty much anything, but C inherently operates inside the stack, which is like a portion of memory that the compiler can get information in and out. And if you don't have a stack, you will have a really hard time to implement a C compiler, because where to put all the stuff?
Who's the
and-
programmer in here?
I think Giffy Maradua.
Marauda.
I never built a compiler, only compiler output and library generation output parser on IBM ZOS. I guess that was a while ago.
Okay. IBM
building
is like
visible-
last century. Oh, sorry, I'm not the digital guy here.
I also don't know, like,
What's
yeah,
this?
he approved that I was not telling bullshit.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so those audio cores are optimized to operate with samples, and there is no point of having a C compiler there. It would only, like, it would make the software accessible to more people, but those who are serious will do it in assembler anyway, because it's probably faster.
Okay, but I think he has a good point here, Stefan. Stefan Mandl is the one.
Cores.
How are the effects distributed across cores? And this is something we are
This
proud
is
of
something I was
Yeah.
also thinking about
a lot.
for
Ages.
since 2019,
Yeah.
and the result is a
Spillover.
mix.
Yeah.
The
Also,
result is a mix. We have some effects that like kind of use up a complete core by performance. For example, reverb. Reverb is like quite challenging performance-wise. You need lots of memory accesses for the delay lines, and you also need a lot of processing power for the all-pass filters, and also much more stuff. I'm not the expert on reverbs, I have to admit there. But for example, for delay, delay is not so challenging performance-wise, and so basically I can do 4 delays inside of one core.
yeah. And
And we actually don't need 4, we only need 2, and the other 2 are there so that if you change a preset from one delay sound to another delay sound, that you hear the decay of the first delay while your second delay is already starting. Yeah.
Spill over.
Yeah.
That's what it's
that,
called.
that is musician talk
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but this is super important because I hate it when you have gaps between sounds. And that's why I'm so happy about all the many cores that we have. 16 cores is kind of leave the cores alone doing their thing, you know, and I think it's also better for stability. Like, you know, if you demand too much, I don't know, that's your software.
It always depends on anything.
Okay, more complex than you ever think.
Like from hardware perspective, you want to have as many cores as possible off.
Yeah.
Because if they are on and running, even if they do only count from 1 to 1 million, they will produce heat.
Yeah.
So what we are doing for the single core algorithms is if you press a button or you start the reverb over the menu or over the button, then the engine that is deciding what to do will check if there is a free DSP core.
Yeah.
Of course, there will be free DSP cores, so it gets started up. Then it's running as long as you're playing the sound with reverb. And when you are leaving the preset, it will keep the core on until the decay of the reverb is gone, and then it will switch it off again to save the resources. That is basically what we are doing. But for the delay core, it's not realistic to do something like that because you can't switch off half a core.
Yeah.
Either it's on or it's off. So the delay core is basically fixed and always running, but the reverb cores are starting and stopping.
Okay. So all this stuff has been done then into another version, which is the revision C. And the revision C is this one, the one that I played at the intro song. So this is not even the final
I think I have a revision C board here.
So this is not even the final.
Some nice wires on it.
Yeah.
The wires I'm using while we are doing sound design to measure what's going on inside.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, there you also can see how the displays are attached. They are like on
Pads.
on little pillows here.
Yeah.
Can basically move. And what did we change for revision C? I think it's a lot of detail work.
Yeah. We talked a lot so much.
There weren't like drastic structural changes for revision C, but we basically got all the modifications that we did in the revision B implemented here, and then basically got it running and thought we are finished.
Never finished, because I came up with a thing and said, hey, when we did sounds, I thought, what else can we do with the tube? You know, it's like, is this all we can do with the tube? And then
it was like we were testing sounds, and checking and changing frequency responses and checking again and doing this and doing that. But what I always notice when you play something that doesn't have boutique quality, you're looking into my face like you are biting into a lemon.
See?
Like this.
No. If it's no boutique quality, I'm not in for it. You know, and this revision C is maybe okay for some things, but when I challenged us with the sound design, we came to things that, hey, maybe we could add this functionality here, and this goes along with we had discovered a few free pins on the controller, which is always there's another option here, there's another option there, and let's go this way and let's go that way, and then we came up with a new arrangement of some stages, blah blah blah.
And we basically changed
Everything
it all over again. And we
but-
didn't only change the audio structure, and we didn't only change the general sound design, but we also added so much functions that we had no possibility left to control it anymore. So we also changed like the structure that I told you that talks with the analog hardware.
Yeah, but
And
see,
changes on this level take like 6 months to implement.
very long. So the good news is we have a PCB. You don't have it with you? It's
I have everything here. What do you need?
the latest one, the D.
So revision D is the only one that I picked nicely here because it's still needed.
Yeah.
And when I touch it, I will also first ground myself here so that I don't kill it with a static discharge.
Yeah.
So this is the latest version of the AMPX
Yeah.
that is still not
This
inside the housing in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are working on this currently, and this is very, very, very promising. And this is why we can say, you know, we have this kind of a version. We have a few minor things that we have.
I need to hide behind it again so that it's
Yeah.
so that it's sharp.
Yeah. Nobody should see the secrets anyway.
Impossible to do.
No,
like
it's
that.
impossible. But the good thing is now we are on that kind of C is having all these boutique maxed out changes. So, and what I love about that version plus the idea of Andreas, our digital expert, that he came up with a new way of controlling things, especially for the foot switches. We have these super glowy effects, 4-color lights in the foot switch section now, and that looks so more analog. This looks like the good old light bulbs from the 1900s. And
also it's the first board that we have that you can say it's like boutique quality.
sound, yeah. So, and that's, and now,
Like our definition of boutique quality is we have the possibility to get close enough so that Thomas won't
complain.
know which one is which and
Yeah.
won't complain anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is the fact. This is what this is our level, and so when you look back at all the revision A, B, C, D.
And then will come revision E because we're still not finished.
Yeah, and then, but this is the one that goes into production, you know, and here's something very important for you guys to know. We know that components are hard to get. We know that the codec went out of production. We know that there's supply chain issues, and therefore we started to order the material for this stuff for our manufacturer 2 years ago even, you know. So we started to get these parts and these parts and these parts, and if only one part is missing, we cannot produce it. The good thing is we started with that process 2 years ago already.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I think like 90% of components are in-house, and the manufacturer is doing like, when can we start? When can we start?
Yeah.
And
to make you guys
only
happy.
It's only us to hold them back.
Yeah.
So that we get the sound, the possibility to make all the sounds in boutique quality.
Absolutely.
And the reason why we have to do this and why we have to carefully check everything is that after market, when the first units are out there, we won't have the possibility to change it anymore.
Yeah.
Because we want to do software updates.
Only. And no hardware updates.
And to make it more precise, software updates that change the available sounds. We call them blueprints for a long time. And to provide that kind of software update is easy when you have a digital machine, because on a digital machine you are happy to do anything. Aftermarket, you can do an update and create a completely new effect with a completely new internal structure and
algorithm, whatever you do.
But
you are free.
On analog hardware,
this is it.
You
are
limited by what is there.
Yeah, and if we don't get it right now, we will always have to live with this limitation. And you know how bad I am when it comes to things that limit the freedom of expression in tone. You know, it's tone innovation, and so this is why let's put that foundation, that analog part, max it out. This has to be next level, and that's the way it will make us happy for a long time. And if not, it will be like, oh scheiße, if we would have done this, now we would be happy. But this is why my expectation level is so high on this, because otherwise we have to live with a big problem. In the digital world, people can always do the updates, and then whatever the XFX3 with that software has a killer blah blah blah, or whatever. But we want to play the same game as the digital guys, being fully analog for the amps, for the pedals, for the compressor pedals. Of course, we have the time-based effects with some digital processing combined, but the mindset and the signal path is as analog as possible. We have zero latency for 99% of everything. Only when we have IR loading speaker simulation, we have some latency, or if we do some other special effects. But all the standard guitar tone things, string to speaker output, zero latency. And that's the most important thing.
Can I run Doom on the FX AMPX? I guess probably yes, but you will have to rewrite it in P16 assembler.
Okay, this was P16 and P24.
P16 is the microprocessor core, and P24 is the audio cores. I guess it won't run on the audio cores, but maybe on the microcontroller.
Yeah,
because the 16-bit machine is basically nothing new. It's like a 16-bit processor with 32-bit address bus and some nice 32-bit instructions. But I guess it will be compatible to what has been there before. Yeah, but assembler. I guess assembler. Otherwise, it will be too slow.
Yeah, I mean, our processor has
or maybe even not, because it's like 100 times faster than processors in the time of Doom, I guess. But I can't say that for sure.
Hey, for us, this processor has a few killer things to offer for the future as well. And so there is kind of headroom for us to work on this platform. That's why we're working this. I don't know what's going on in the chat right now. Is it? I love this time many options. Most of the see.
Is there some kind of built-in self-test function? Yes, but I didn't implement it yet. There's hardware for it,
Yeah.
but it's not yet finished.
I would like to make another example why waiting is good. See, this is a carry-on bag for an amp1. We all love it because it's so nice. It goes with the amp1. It fits in there. It's padded. It's protected. Cool thing to have. Comes with a unit, no extra cost. Okay. Next thing is we have an AMPX. Now I have to look where's the start. Okay, I think this is one of the early ones. Is it? So we start with something in that direction. AMPX would fit in there. Let's see what's in there. Nothing. So, okay, that's revision A. But the thing is, if you put an AMPX in there, it's getting kind of wobbly because the AMPX is a bit more heavy.
You can basically do this with it.
You can bend it, and it's not the right kind of thing. So, next version, you go and have, there's something in there. You have some reinforcement inside. So this is kind of a plastic.
There's basically a plastic going around once the box.
Once around the box,
But
not on the bottom. There's no, here's a sawing, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But anyway, just showing you this. This is kind of the next iteration.
It's not as squishy anymore, but
Yeah.
it's not
They-
yet able to carry an AMPX.
Yeah, in a super nice way. So then there's the next one. We kind of enhance that one. Next version, and this is kind of what's in there? This is this is the latest one. If you try to twist this, it's not possible because this is so stiff now, and
There's
it's
now a molded part of plastic going
Yeah.
once around to stabilize it.
specially designed for us. And this reminds me that the noise is. I'm currently about not to show you this, and this because we are designing our own controller pedals for it as well. So I guess with the time when the release is, we can offer our own pedals, which are again nice and next generation.
Volume pedals.
Volume pedals or
Controller pedals. But important that you don't mean those things.
no overdrive pedals.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the controllers for whatever volume, gain, delay, master volume, blah blah blah.
Can we do a size comparison between AMP1 and AMPX?
Is this a question from the
Yeah.
stream? Yes, we can.
We can also do a back comparison.
Well, we kind of did that. The size comparison. Let's do it easily. This is. Oh, wait a minute. I get two AMP1s here. Let's see, what is this? We have some modified AMP1s. So it's less.
An AMPX is around 1 1/3 AMP1.
Yeah, just put it here, then we can see. So I would say 80% of two AMP1s.
Yeah.
That's the size thing. So questions, more questions, please. Now is the time. Especially.
Controller for volume, delay, and Doom.
Yeah, okay. Doom. People love Doom.
Can you please speak about the quality that will come from the effects, especially the delays and reverbs? Will they be on par or better with better than Fractal or Strymon.
Okay.
Also, will there be a looper?
Okay, let's start with the delays. The good thing is we already have some delays, and the delays are one of my, I would say, hobbies. I'm a delay nut. So what we do have is we have a replex kind of delay, but we actually worked on the algorithm of on our own algorithm to get kind of any tape delay into the AMPX. You already spent, or we spent a lot of time on delays already.
Yeah.
From all the effects that the AMPX is offering,
I guess the delays have the
prior
the richest, the most kind of work put into it.
into the delays.
Delays.
So, and the concept we go along with the delays is we will release it with some standard stuff, and we will save some of that special one-to-one copies of one of this or that for later.
What Thomas wants to say, we will be able, as with the amps, to specially give you this delay.
Yeah.
Not some kind of good delay,
We
but
can,
a specific delay.
we can kind of emulate an original, one of mine collection delays. We have created an algorithm that can reproduce the exact wobble and fuck up of the tape and frequency mash up, blah, 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 preamp of that tape delay. So we have the options there. It will ship with something usable, but the future is wide open for delays. So that's one thing I can tell you, because we already have designed the foundation. It will take time to model specific units, but it's the engine is kind of there. When we talk about reverbs, we have a few nice reverbs in there. The question is, we don't have a shimmer verb yet that is convincing or stuff like that. I would say the standard reverbs are pretty good. Maybe at this point, not in the kind of same quality and focus as I have seen it with the XFX 3. But there's time over the years. The AMPX is a project that will grow over the years. You know, once we have it out, we can work on these kind of extras.
Yeah, for sure. At the release, we won't be able to copy a specific reverb.
No, we have,
That-
but we have some nice standard stuff there. I checked that stuff out. It's definitely good. It's not the okay. Let's talk reverbs.
Also with the reverbs that we have there at the moment are not done by us.
Yeah.
They are done by the chip manufacturer, and they provide it as one of the modules they provided as a closed library, and another they provided as an.
Yeah, let's show you. Maybe I can show you.
We can talk. Delay of
talking about reverb here, a typical thing of a cheap reverb is you do this kind of percussive sound, and it goes like, and you can hear like feedback loops, like certain, and it's not there. This is a sign that the algorithm is kind of nice. We have access to the parameters, so we can fine tune that to make it nice. But the basic sound quality of that is already pretty good. Do we have that stereo post delay here?
I switch it off so that we can hear the reverb.
Yeah, but I would like to go for this beautiful delay. So we show the world that. Just as an example, that this is, yeah, we have some quality here. We are talking boutique, not 100% to the extent that some of our friends in the market are there, but we will definitely deliver something at a high level, and then we can even go further in a specific direction. And then, of course, that's all down to taste. And then this is what our idea is, to offer the so-called blueprints, things that you have to pay for, because that money gives us the resources to do the design. And we actually are collaborating with a few companies. That's the plan. I know a few friends that will join in. We will see what the future will bring, but there's room to do that. Questions?
Yeah, let's stop for short. There are like two guys who are always asking the same question and we don't reply to it.
What is
So
the
the first one, I think it's above. Some guy is asking whether the AMPX will come out worldwide at release date, or if it will come out only Europe or only Germany, or what?
Okay, we will have, first of them, we have a pre-order list, and those people are contacted by us first, and of course they will do that. We will have, again, also the priority for the German guys, just to make sure, in case something shitty would be, we are closer. So if the first thing is fine, we open the gates for the rest of the world. That's our plan. If there's one exception to the rule, there will be an exception to the rule. The rule is what I said. Yeah. So hey, by the way, this is, if you put yourself on the pre-order list, which is on our website, it helps us to see who wants one. There's no binding contract or something. It's just you are interested, so it's good to be there. So at the right point in time, we will contact you, and then we will certify if you really go for the offer or not.
For the testing, or what? Or
No.
For the pre-order.
Pre-order.
List, yeah.
For the pre-order.
So, and the other, let's wait so that
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
can hear us.
Yeah.
The other question is, I noticed the effects loop is before the post effects. That is correct.
Yeah.
If you plug in a looper pedal to the effects loop, will you not be able to use the internal effects?
You are.
You are.
Well, okay, there's a few. Okay, there was a question about having a looper in the AMPX as well. I think that's definitely on my wish list. We haven't done it yet. a simple looper will be not a big problem, but
if it's like a 200 minutes looper, then it gets sketchy.
yeah. So of course, and there are some crazy loopers out there, but I think something like a Ditto style looper we will have at a very early stage as well.
So it's I think like internally it's not a problem to have a pre-looper, like before the amp, after the pedal.
Are you talking now?
And it's also no problem to have a post-effect looper.
Yeah.
And you can also, of course, plug in
An
a
external looper.
Yeah.
Your own looper pedal, because you can plug it into the effects loop, or you can put it in front of the amp, so you have options.
That too,
and and our own looper can be placed also in both sections of the amp, before or after the amp section.
Mm-hmm. The only thing, like you won't be able with that configuration, when you plug in a looper, you can say my loop should have reverb, but my solo that I'm playing while I'm playing the loop should have no reverb.
Yeah,
the reverb will be over everything,
on.
and the delay also, and so on.
Yeah, that's the nature of that layout. Mm-hmm.
An ambience room reverb just for the headphones. Mm-hmm. Waste of processing power.
I was reading something else. What was it? Headphones?
An ambience room reverb just for the headphones would be nice. So I guess it should be not on the power amp.
Yeah.
Basically for in-ear, it's, in my opinion, it's no problem. But if you have like a preset that has a pre-reverb and then a post-reverb and then another reverb, at some point we will get to a border where it won't work anymore. Overload. Yeah.
I think we will offer something maybe inside. That's a part of the concept. Maybe as a part of the blue box of the speaker emulation, that we have
like a tiny room,
like a tiny room, so that it doesn't peak pointy your ears and kill you. To have a room like experience for the direct signal, something like that.
Yeah. The thing is, if you allow like a standard reverb also for the headphone, then there will be people who put the highest quality reverb on every path of the signal flow, and then
it's too much.
Yeah, but like a little room should be no problem, in my opinion. Yeah. What amount is the first production batch? First, we will do 20 pieces
for ourselves,
for our testing, that we will keep and probably throw away or ship to some people who do video and then start to sell it on eBay. And then we will do 500. Yeah. And those 500.
This is what we talked about.
Will be distributed only in Germany. Yeah. Or other. No, I think only in Germany. Yeah.
We will
not even Europe. And then we will do 1,000.
Yeah, we will do some exception to that rule because, but we will have that kind of rule of thumb. When will X-Wings be presented to us? Good point. The X-Wings I can present to you right now as the basic concept, and part of our mechanical design, which is finished, is that these wings already work.
The thing is, I think this already aluminium?
No, this is the heavy steel. We changed from steel because steel is too heavy. We want to have smart products, as lightweight, as compact, as powerful, and these wings shouldn't kill this kind of nice approach. So we have this already in aluminium, but I will present something when I have the expression pedal as well. And this is in progress right now. I think I found a beautiful solution that is let's say the most advanced technology. This is matches the amp perfectly, and yeah, we are about to do this in parallel, you know.
In my opinion, the X-Wings could be seen by people at NEM because the unit there at NEM had them mounted. But we went to not mount them for the shows because they are too heavy, because they are made of steel, and so that's why we changed to
But we have,
aluminum.
I think we have our aluminum ones.
We have them somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you will see those pretty soon. And what is this? The Number of the Beast? You're an Iron Maiden fan, I guess. Aha. Is this talking to me? I'm. Here's a big thing. Iron Maiden, great band. And the other day I had a nice contact about blah 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 in this direction. You will probably see.
Are there any updates on Dynamic IRs?
Oh, actually, we have Dynamic IRs already here, and
my question is: did you hear already that recording out and found it's not good?
Yeah, because this is Dynamic IRs already.
It's implemented since NEM.
Yeah, and it is. I think. Okay, let's explain how we did it. We don't have to capture special IRs for it. We can use our IRs or standard IRs, and we have created a software algorithm that makes boring IRs dynamic. And that's the good news. If you have an IR that you like, and you will get this into the AMPX will make this even dynamic. And I'm pretty happy with the results. Yep.
Maybe in some time we will try a different approach to maybe get even better results, but I don't see priority on this right now.
No, I mean Dynamic IR is already at a level that I would be happy to ship it like it is. Simple pitch shifter for initial release. Pitch shifting is a big problem. It can be solved and it's on my wish list, but it's a big problem for initial release because we talked about this. Is this the thing with the FFT pitch shifting?
Pitch shifting is pretty stupid to implement because it FFT. I guess it's not even the best way to do that by FFT. Pitch shifting works by finding patterns in the waveform, and then you copy the pattern and you put it, you repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
But it has like a structural latency problem that is depending on the height of the tone and so on. And I guess if we finish our pitch shifter, it will be
different.
like it will be different for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, we know that this is a demanding thing, and if we want to do it, a simple pitch shifter. What is a simple pitch shifter? I mean, if we're talking about a proper, good working pitch shifter for detune, drop tune, or stuff like this, let's do this right, and there's no initial release with a stupid compromise.
We will do that when we have time.
Yeah, exactly. So, Seele, will Blue Box 2 get dynamic IRs? Yes, of course. Because when we have that technology, which I like, we can apply it to future products, of course.
Of course, we will use the same or a very similar algorithm for the next version of the Blue Box using the same chip
Yeah.
or similar
A
chip.
brother or sister,
Ja.
a smaller. Wann
Can-
wirst du den AMPX live benutzen? Um einfach, ja. When
we have an assembled unit that sounds boutique enough for Thomas and has his signature sounds.
Yeah.
Can settings be saved and transferred via USB stick? Yes, even now with this old thing
Works.
already.
Yeah.
Simple pitch.
Is it
shifter.
possible to hear a comparison between a Fender amp and AMPX model of a similar amp? Is it able to recreate Fender chime? Of course. This is the reason why we
came up with the new PCB.
Revision C, you know?
No, revision D.
D.
Yeah,
And-
this one doesn't do it yet. Like,
Yeah.
Not to the point that you don't look like biting in a.
Yeah. But see, I have a full Fender tower here, and this is it's including the Princeton, the Basement, the Super Reverb, and the Twin Reverb, and there's even a Fender Deluxe tweet behind me. Where is it? No.
Yeah.
Here. There, the brown.
So,
the
but
brown
is
boy.
it possible to hear the comparison?
Not yet.
Not now because the PCB is not assembled.
Yeah.
And
But
there.
but the thing is, I'm super excited about, because I know that the revision that we've done features some tricks that make it so Fendery that even Fender players will have that super big smile.
Will it have analog octave fuzz? That will be a tough thing,
Yeah.
but we will try it.
Yeah, we will try it. We have Fuzz analog, yes, and the octave Fuzz is a super hard one. We've been in this territory, and we will try it again. But the analog octave Fuzz, Hendrix style.
It's a hard thing to do because the clip of octave fuzzes is very strange.
Yeah, it's so strange that it creates an octave. Sharp edges. What is this? Retro with have a video comparing, and the Princeton, they have a video comparing AMP1 with the Princeton, of course. And there's a video that played our clean, somebody played our clean channel of this, or maybe at NAMM, and this guy was already happy, but I know there is more. So no worries, Fender. We have, I see Helmut loves the 68 Deluxe. Yes, this is all, See, this says Fender, and this says Fender too. we have a part of the circuitry that we call the Fender secret. That makes the Fender.
Stop talking, Thomas. Stop
Yeah.
talking. They have a video comparing. Those comparison videos. I'm still hoping that they will get to wider public, because the issue is sound-wise, depending on the territory, AMPX won't be better. It will be equal to AMP1.
Yeah.
And if you happen to like playing this or that sound that AMP1 offers, there is basically only a reason to buy AMPX if you need preset and effects and
the
and
full
so on.
the full feature set,
Yeah.
which, and most Fender players actually don't need that
Yeah.
feature set, and that's something. Let's make a point out of this. You know, in this world, AMPX is the super exciting project because it's new. We all want a new. We all want more. But in reality, I mean, you know, I played a 61 Stratocaster because after years of experimenting with humbuckers, with that extra switch that gives me the combination of the bridge and the neck, which is not standard, and blah, 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 you know, the tele sound in this and the master tone and every option there is available, I found out the standard Strat is still my favorite. Why? Because it has the fucking Strat magic character. And this is all I need as a guitar. Now back to the amp world. I'm not saying the amp one is boring because it doesn't have all the and vice versa. That's all bullshit. Yeah. The amp one is as good as an AMPX, but it has a certain spectrum to offer. And if you are happy with one guitar that has a certain spectrum to offer, you are happy with an amp one that has a certain spectrum to offer if you need that. And this has already 4 channels. And this has 4 channels. So, of course, if you have your effect pedals coming from the AMPX out of one box, that's the strong point of the AMPX. But if you are a dead purist, like a lot people out there, the amp one is still a magic amp.
And we know that the people are purists because the majority of people is not even using the function set of amp one. Most of people don't have the remote or the MIDI one to even use the programmable features that amp one already has. So maybe you're here watching, thinking about buying the AMPX, but the real thing you would be happy with is the amp one.
Yeah. So, but anyway, there is.
And no, we won't stop production of amp one. Stop thinking that.
Yeah. That's hey, this is like BMW releasing their new whatever 7 Series. I'm driving a 3 Series, and I'm super happy with it. And it's actually 12 years old. What's the problem? I'm happy with my car. I don't buy a 7 Series because I don't need that. Yeah. I'm having my convertible.
With a 7, you will just have troubles parking because it's too long. Yeah. And you will need more gas.
See, so and so there is the guy that wants this thing, and there's the guy that wants this thing. The more is more is Yngwie Malmsteen. Less is more, that's me. And somewhere in the middle is maybe our reality. And you have to decide. Of course, it's exciting. Check it out, and you will find out in the end. But let's make one more point about the sound examples. We found out that we have this many A/B comparison done. When I shoot videos with vintage gear, I get hands on a Tolex, whatever, Fender, a Tweed Fender Bassman 55, and the craziest and the best amps in the world. What I'm doing is I use my A/B switching system, and I use one of my amp ones, and I make a video. Sometimes I have other people playing, sometimes I do play, and these videos show you how good we actually are with amp one already. And these videos can be found on BluGuitar under Soundfinder. Okay, our job for this year, Happy New Year, to our company guys, is that we have to put those sound snippets easier available to you guys. But for now, go to BluGuitar, put in Soundfinder, and then you click on whatever, Brian May or Fender, or type in whatever you like to hear, and you will find videos of classic amps compared on classic tones that you want to hear compared to our amps, including the settings of how to set up an amp one to get there. And that's, if you all would hear and knew what I know, I would be happy. But on the other hand, you would probably also be happy because you knew how to make this amp sound like the original, whatever, 64 Super Reverb. There's some videos out there. Or like a Tweed Bassman, or my Tweed Deluxe. We already, or like my Marshalls, blah, 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 or other Marshalls that I have done. So check out these Soundfinder clips on BluGuitar, www.blugi pedia.com sound finder.
Fat caps will be in stock in
Mid of February.
Yeah.
Yeah, currently we are we're talking Europe only at the moment. In the US, we still have cabinets, but we are out of amps. And in Germany, we have amps, but we are out of stock with cabinets. And hey guys, in the US, I don't know why you guys are so reluctant with BluGuitar cabinets, because everybody that bought a cabinet in the US from BluGuitar is super happy. And in Europe, the result is our warehouse is empty. And that's not due to the fact that our cabinets are shit. I know the dealers, especially in the US, hate to stock the cabinets because they think a cabinet is a cabinet and what's different with your cabinet? Well, if you put as much love and dedication in design to a cabinet as we do, we come up with a solution that is more compact, as powerful, and sounds better on stage than most other things. If you don't know a fat cap as a rock player, check it out, because a fat cap, all my colleagues that come from 4x12 cabinets get used to it. I'm talking not only Ben Grenfeld, I'm talking Ali Neander, I'm talking Alex Bayroth, who is more into the harder stuff. And that's just an example of that fat cap that I'm using myself. And I basically have no complaints about it. It's like people try it out and it's like, okay, this is, yeah, makes sense. And in case you need more, there's a twin cap. And in case you like that smallest package, there's a nano cap, blah, blah, blah. But for the guys in the US, check out our cabinets. It's worth doing it. You can even play it with other amps. It's a fantastic cabinet because cabinets are at least 50% of the sound.
BluGuitar caps are 60 watt and the M1 is 100 watt. Just put the master on 6 and you're fine.
That's one. Or use the half power mode. Or here's the point. I'm using our cabinets from day one, and even prior BluGuitar existed. If you wanna kill a cabinet, you can kill it. But if you put it, like Julian says, on 6, you're totally safe, and you can still have the headroom punching to the cabinet.
And if you think you can't hear yourself at master 6 or 7, then you don't have enough mids.
Okay, that's the mid things, yes. And the other thing is, if the cabinet doesn't get any louder, then, and I'm talking generally with cabinets, don't put more power to it because it doesn't get any louder, it just gets more compressed. And this is the same with our cabinets. When you feel that, hey, this is where the cabinet, there's not more, then don't turn it up more. And then you will not destroy it. If you just put it on 10, of course, you can kill the cabinet. Because 100 watt, our cabinets have 120 watts peak power, which is, you can play 1-2 chords, but you can't play, all night at that level.
If you can't hear yourself at level 6, consider to go to the doctor. Okay. Is there a Bluetooth chip in the AMPX? There is not.
No.
For reasons, because what will happen with your Bluetooth tablet to control AMPX when you are on stage or when you are in a restaurant? There are 500 phones around you, 60 of them have Bluetooth enabled, and your setup won't work anymore. What you can do is, you have your laptop or you have your tablet and you connect it to the USB-C jack.
Yeah.
And what we will definitely do is make it possible to do basic MIDI control by USB. Even if we never decide to make a controller app, you can build your own controller app by
just combining
sending MIDI
commands,
commands, yeah.
standard commands. Yeah.
That will just work when you connect the AMPX to your computer. It will appear as a MIDI device, and then you can remote control it without being depending on Bluetooth. Also, the housing is made of metal, so it will be hard to get a signal through.
Mm-hmm. Here, trust Thomas, I already killed a speaker with M1, Heiko. Yeah, and I killed many speakers in my past because I came from playing Celestion speakers. My favorite speakers were greenback speakers. Greenback speakers are rated at 25 watts. And I used them over years, over a whole decade with my 100 watt using Kettner Triamp, tube amp, which puts out more than 100 watts. And of course I killed the greenbacks. And I'm talking 25 watts versus 60 watts with BluGuitar. On the BluGuitar cabinets, I think I only once killed a speaker because I wanted to actually to go all the way and know where the limits are. But since, yeah, if you are afraid, put the amp1 on half power mode, you're safe. You know, period. That's why we did it. But it's actually not needed. What about the new speaker load compensation in IRs without a cabinet connect? That's a good point. We have that already in there. What about, yes, a fat cap plus a nano cap could be the solution. Yes, HDO, that's actually a good combination. If you have a fat cap and a nano cap, you have two different speakers and they complement each other nicely. So the extra mid push from the nano cap goes very well along with the punchy and bite rock bottom of the fat cap. Plus you have the options, if you play a small gig, you just have the nano cap. If you play blah, 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 or you can space them out and put one nano cap on the side of the stage and the fat cap behind you. And to have those two cabinets is great. If a speaker doesn't get any louder, you have to get another speaker. That's physics. And I don't like speakers that are as heavy as a 12L by Electro Voice. I'm not saying that they are great speakers and they are loud speakers, the loudest 12-inch speakers on the planet, but they're so heavy, I don't like them. And the Celestion Gold, which is supposed to be, is it gold or the red? I had it, gold. Supposed to be a neodymium copy of that speaker, doesn't have the magic to me. Sorry, Celestion, they have other great speakers, but this one doesn't convince me.
I don't play the guitar, otherwise I guess I would have played the second voice in the intro song.
Yeah, okay, this was... and by the way, the intro song, the second voice, is Ben Granfeld. This was a rough mix that I've done roughly very fast here from some recording that will come out again this year, 2023, which
Do we know what price of blueprints will be? It will depend on the blueprint.
Yeah.
I guess on like lower level things, there will be a lower level price tag, and on the dumbbell there will be a higher price tag. Yeah.
And this, you know, this is.
And it also depends on what turns out, how much work we have to put into.
Yeah. It is to create a budget to do things and also to collaborate with things, with people. If we work on something, we have to find a way how to make that happen in a good way. We talked about different price categories, but no numbers now. Let's keep that open until we are
we know how it works.
Yeah, more familiar with
have done some.
Yeah. There's some theories in our head, but if we talk now, then we have to come up with different numbers later on. It's not good.
Thomas. I think we have now talked for 2 hours, 20 minutes.
That's my usual. So, okay. So let's finish up with the last question. If I ever should kill a fat cap, as soon as I get one, I'll try that eminence. Yeah, here somebody loves Electro Voice 12L. I had an Electro Voice 12L. I know exactly that speaker in my Mesa Boogie Mark IIB from the 80s. And I tell you, this amp is so fucking heavy. If you have to lift one up these days, and this is partially of the speaker. I mean, with the Mesa Boogies, everything is heavy. The Mesa has, you know, super solid transformers. So there's that fucking heavy chassis, there's super solid transformers. And then there comes the super solid housing and then that speaker. It's like screwed to the ground. You lift it up, you think like somebody put some, I don't know what the English word is, maybe it's Spacks. No, zack. But it's that speaker has something. I owned a Celestion 150 watt for my Royce & C Royal Grande combo to securely replace the muddy sounding Eminence 100. Yeah. Okay, here guys, there is some high power speakers out there, and maybe this makes you happy. Go for it. I'm more the fan of the best tone, which is to me more towards the traditional greenbacks. That's where I'm coming from. And I'm always searching for that, and I'm trying to get that tone in a higher volume. And this is, I think, what I could achieve with our cabinets. Therefore, I'm happy. If I could get the same thing in 150 watts, I would buy it or I would use it. But I haven't found that in existing speakers. I'm still experimenting on stuff, but it's not yet there. Therefore, I can't buy it, I can't give it to you, I can sell it.
And will I get a discount?
Okay, if Julian would decide to pick up, I give him a discount on the lessons, of course, yeah. But
I guess it will be more expensive that I don't work on our projects
exactly
than the cost of the lesson. Yeah?
So the conversation would probably go, oh, should I learn the guitar? And I said, he would say, I have no time. And I would say, I have no time either. So that's the end of that discussion. Okay, I give you the discount anyway. Let's go out for lunch. That's our deal. Very good to see such a dedicated young talent. Yes, I have to agree. You know, for me, BluGuitar is so important that it's not a one-man show. I mean, you see my face all the time, and I have the longest history because I'm the oldest. Yeah, that's the advantage of being older. I've been there, I've done that, and I sent a postcard. And I'm talking about Australia and places where people don't go these days, like Russia. I've been to all these places, and America, and yeah, I have seen the world and the guitar players and the R&D departments and the people, blah, blah, blah. But a company is a living and breathing organism. And we at BluGuitar have people that have passion and are fresh, because that's why I enjoy having a company. And if that disappears, I will stop. Simple as that. Because, you know, everything I do has to make sense for myself as well. And it's not money. The money is just the thing that goes along with it to be able to do all that shit. But the first thing is, it's about the passion, it's about the things. For me, this is kind of a great journey. AMPX is a long journey. AMPX is, it's a challenge. It's something we can look back once it's out there. We can already look back. We did 2 hours of talk just looking back. That's great. So I think I use this to round it up for today.
Thank you for 250 people watching.
Yes, and Friedman is on my wish list as well. Maybe with even Dave Friedman himself. I talked to him. Let's see. If not, then I do it for him, or we do it. Yeah. And this is. Hey, by the way, this is. I'm happy that Julian joined in today, because maybe we have him, occasionally here when we have new stuff.
I guess I'll be back when the next one gets a child here.
Well, I'm not pregnant. So this is a very bad joke for Germans. It's like I make a short and pregnant announcement. Let's end this episode. A long, nice journey with AMPX, and see you guys next week. On my wish list and plan is Manny Zebe again, with the metal licks of the 90s, I guess. I have to call him if he's still up for that.
He's already practicing.
Yeah. Manny is so cool. He's thrash metal fun, and very informative. Thanks guys for the comments. And thanks Lucas for switching. Who said that? Yeah. Lucas for switching. Okay,
Yeah,
applause.
This evening is poor comedy.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, hey, thanks Julian for joining in. And
thanks for having me.
We'll see each other very soon. Stay tuned, and bye-bye.